Yes. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Savva here from Football Heritage TV. It's Monday night. It's Debate Savva. Please let me set the stall early on. I really don't want people that just want to come on and rant about Ange Postecoglou. I rant about Ange Postecoglou. What I'm looking for is people that want to debate. It's the people that are very brave behind their keyboards. I want to debate people. You must have your camera on as well. Please have your camera on. And big up to each and every one of you. The link is pinned. I will talk for a few minutes first, but the link is pinned. And just to let you know, by the way, tonight at 7:45, I will be on bigup.com doing a live watch along of West Ham versus Wolves. Look, there is in the Spurs world, I'm sure there's so much for us to talk about. There's so much for us to debate. And Postecoglou is hot conversation. Christian Romero coming out with lots of stuff. I was going to call it nonsense. I think it's nonsense, but Christian Romero coming out with a lot of stuff again. Injuries to Van der Ven, Romero, Brennan Johnson, and starting two defenders who weren't fit. Whilst he left the only fit centre-back at the club on the bench. All of these different things that we can talk about. So, look, Tottenham have moved down into the bottom half of the table. 20 points after 15 games is pretty poor, isn't it? Still, many people want this guy in. That's fair enough. Absolutely, everybody can have their opinion. But I want to hear from those people. I want to hear from those people. I want to hear why. I want to hear what he's done better than managers that were sacked before him who had better stats and better data. I keep hearing from people that there's loads of things that we've improved since he's been here. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is because the mentality is worse than ever. The number of defeats is huge, worse than I can remember for years and years and years. The style of play, I mean, we're the most wide open football team I think I've ever seen play football. But if anybody would like to dispute that, it's there. Listen, you can, anything that I've said, anything that you think we can have a good debate on, join the show. But please, what I don't want is people coming on that just want to rant about Ange. I want people that want to have a football debate. Look, it's crazy. I get it. I get it that some people think that 18 months isn't long enough. But in that 18 months, surely we would have seen some signs of progression. And I haven't seen an ounce of progression anywhere. I think we are awful at the back. I think we've got no midfield stability. I think our build-up play is most of the time leaves a lot to be desired. Our passing is some of the worst I think I've seen from Spurs teams. I don't know. I don't know what's got better. I'm happy for people to tell me what has, but I really need to see evidence. I'm not a feelings person. Yeah, I feel I might win the lottery, but evidence will tell me I haven't won the lottery, right? Do you know what I mean? I want Spurs to win a Premier League, but evidence will tell me we won't win a Premier League. And that's what I want to speak to. But there's a lot of fans that talk a great game, and whenever these shows come up, tend to disappear. I tend to get more Arsenal fans that seem to love Ange. It's so weird. Fans telling me that we need to give this guy 5 years. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't want him here for another 5 games, let alone 5 years. Look, people I know that have had season tickets for 30, 40 years, let that sink in, saying to me that this is some of the worst football they've seen, saying that people are being blinkered because when we fly forward at times we look good. But proper football people will tell you, you can't just fly forward. You need some stability. You need organization. You need shape. You need structure. And unfortunately, he's not got any of that to his teams. Hoddle has said it. Harry Redknapp has said it. I mean, I'm just using them as Spurs examples. Paul Merson said it yesterday. Jamie Redknapp, Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville said it. Simon Jordan said it. Like, everyone seems to be saying the same thing, but lots of Spurs fans still don't get it. It's a new team. I keep hearing it's a new team. No, it's not. What part of this team is new? What part of this team is new? Dominic Solanke is new. If anything, this man's had the same 11 roughly for a year and a half now. There should be continuity. These people should know his tactics better. But the problem is the tactics are just horrendous. How can you be that wide open? And as I said earlier, by the way, the link is there. There's the link in the chat. I'll put it in again. Here it is. There's the link. It is there. Tactically, I had Chelsea fans yesterday, and a couple of big Chelsea YouTubers messaging me saying that, look, they can't believe how easy it was to get through us. They can't believe how easy it was. And I just said to them, I told you, you will go through us like a knife through butter. They said, we didn't do anything. We did nothing to try and stifle Sancho. We did nothing to put anybody on Enzo Fernandez or Cole Palmer. We just let them play around us. And it reminds me of school football. You know, in the playground before you're tactically aware and everyone just wants to chase the ball. Fans go, oh, this is great. But it doesn't work. It factually is not working. The results are going backwards. We are getting more defeats, less wins. The points are down. But people still keep telling me it's good. Come on, Savva, don't be silly. Did those people you mentioned, ticket holders for 30 years, watch Conte defend a 1-0 deficit? Yes, but you know, the very difference between that is Conte was very defensive with a very poor squad, by the way. Ange is too gung-ho with a much better squad. Balance is needed. Balance. We look like Leeds. There you go. As Chloe said. Big up, Chloe. Good evening to you. Yeah, we look like Bielsa's Leeds. We look like Bielsa's Leeds. Everyone else finds us entertaining. But as Spurs fans, or as a Spurs fan, I'm not entertained. I think we're dreadful. And the facts are showing that. And I've got facts for days and days and days. I've got the first person in the chat. I'm interested to bring Adam on and see what he's got to say. Oh, I think his camera's just gone off. Or we'll bring him back on. Adam, how are you?
Hello, Savva. How you doing, my man? You all right?
I'm very well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm not too bad, not too well. Weekend's obviously not been great, has it?
Listen, I think it all depends on whether or not you got to the stage in your life where you don't let Spurs ruin your weekend. Like I kind of learned that a long time ago that Spurs finish, it is what it is. But what do you want to say, Adam? What is it you want to have a little debate about?
I put it out there. I follow you closely with Stel, and I'm on the group with the Tottenham Away group, and it's quite paramount. And I've really put it across to Talk Sport. To be fair, I've been on there a couple of times.
Yep.
And I think the media partly just don't get it. They know that the problem with Spurs is, as you know, you've echoed it so many times, it's the ownership. And since Poch left because he wouldn't get the transfers that he wanted over the 2-month period where he didn't spend anything after the Champions League final, it's been a disaster. We got Conte and Mourinho, world class proven managers have won things. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with the ownership who just do like Levy, if he doesn't like what you're doing, whereby he wants control, whereas the managers just have control and do what they need to do teams like what Liverpool do, for example, because they're really up in form at the moment. Just let the manager manage, get the players he wants. But as you know, it's all kind of been stifled because Levy's either putting his nose into it, along with the mismanagement. He's employed like Lange, Scott Munn, and all that kind of thing. And I think with Ange, it was a golden start when he came in the first season. And then we thought, give it a bit of time because he's going to have laps when he lulls. But I think by your admission, and it's rightly so, his stats don't, unfortunately, it's not good enough. And we need to have a reset or recalibration when one day I hope, we have a new ownership in I don't know how many years to come, or months, or I don't know. But I'm just kind of frustrated that if we can do well with a manager who buys what he wants to buy, rather than having this string purse control from Levy, I think the world will be a better place for us. But I just think I'm not going to be convinced whenever or when Ange goes.
But Adam, Listen, do you know what? I agree with 50% of what you're saying, and the other 50% I don't agree with, which makes for a good debate, I suppose.
Okay.
Look, in terms of Daniel Levy, I mean, I can say this till I'm blue in the face. Yeah. Do I believe any manager comes in here and Spurs go, right, we're title challengers. Right, we should win a league title. We should win a Champions League. No, I don't at all. I don't. And for that, this is what I've always said about Daniel Levy. He spent 24 years in quarter of a century. He should have a well-oiled machine. We should be able to buy top players. We should be able to pay better wages. And that's why we moved into the stadium. That is one side of things. And I completely agree with you on all of that. I do, 100%. My issue, though, isn't, oh, my God, Ange should be in the top 2 or 3. My issue is we're miles off the top 4. My issue is we're losing more games than I can remember. And listen, any manager who comes in here is not going to get, do you know what I mean? If a manager rocks up and goes, right, do you know what I want? I want Mohamed Kudus from West Ham. I want Tap Soba. I want, right? They're going to get maybe one of them, but the other 3 or 4 they want, they're not going to get. We know that. But the question I'll throw back at you, Adam, is this squad so bad that we should be winning 4 away games in 12 months, losing 19 games in 40 in the Premier League? Literally, it's win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, right? Is it so bad that we should have, I think it's something like 3 clean sheets in 25 games or something.
Yeah.
That's my point, Adam. It's not, who comes in and wins things. It's, this manager should be making us difficult to beat, Adam. Do you know what I mean? Put a structure in place where teams come to White Hart Lane. I'll always call it that. You know, when teams come to White Hart Lane and go, Spurs are really difficult to play against there. They don't give you the ball. They plug the gaps. There's no space. But they're actually coming to our ground now. And Ipswich came and beat us. Chelsea came, played us off the park and beat us. You know, Fulham played us off the park, should have beaten us. This is our home ground. We should be difficult, Adam. And last thing I'll say, and I'll bring you back in. Last thing I'll say is, this is our home ground. I think you need to turn me off somewhere. I think I can hear in the background.
Sorry,
you might.
Sorry,
no, that's all right. I can just hear what I'm saying. I hate my voice. Funnily enough, I love it and I hate it at the same time. That's what my wife says to me. The worrying thing is that we have form like we're in now, where we win 1 in 7, and the manager is asked about his tactics, and he says, "I'm not going to change who we are. I thought we played well." And you're like, at what point, Adam, does it become denial? Do you know what I mean? That's where I'm at with it.
Well, to answer your question at the beginning, Savva, there's 2 folds to what you just said to me. Mm-hmm. A, we haven't bought the right players in the right places. We've always known, as you probably have obviously echoed it in Stell's edit's path, we needed a proper number 6. Okay, we needed a defensive midfield. Basuma we thought was the one that was going to do it, but he isn't just quite cutting it. He's just like to be more forward. I think the answer to the other question is, and it goes again what I said at the beginning, it's to do with the buying structure of the club. Who is making the signings? First minute, Ange said he was backed in the summer. Next minute, he's saying he hasn't got enough players in the right areas or coming to with the injuries we've had. And the concern for me is, and you're rightly so, Savva, and personally, I like him. I haven't got nothing against him. I just don't think he's got enough cutting edge as a manager to have the different tactics and styles that he needs to adapt, like other managers do, like, you know, Emery, like Slot, who does it really well. And he just hasn't got it. He's just he doesn't believe in pragmatism. He's just very stubborn. No, this is my way. Yeah, because I won in Celtic. Yes, I've managed in the A-leagues in South Asia. Unfortunately, with all due respect, it's not a competitive league, right? So there's a combination to your question, Savva. A, we haven't got the right players in the right areas. B, the misfit of the buying structure is wrong. And you said earlier on as well, which I agree, when we moved to the stadium, I know it was a big kind of shift going from the old White Hart Lane to the big stadium, which cost over £1 billion. Somewhere along the line, I mean, look at Kane's sold for £100 million. Look at, you know, even years back before then when Bale got sold for over £85 million. Where has all that money and resources gone? And the thing
Well,
is, my fear is, yes, you're right. We need consistency. It's not just about silverware. We do need consistency. It's no point beating big teams like, well, Man United are not playing great anyway. We beat Man City, but then it's coming down to the lower teams with respect to them that we should be beating, and that's the frustration. Ange hasn't got the right tactics to adapt to the system that he needs to be doing. Set
well,
pieces is an issue. Everything else,
Well, look, let me, Adam, this is the thing. This is where there's a lot of unanswered questions, right? And I think we kind of agree and disagree all at the same time. There's a lot of conversation about he needs a number 6, but most people that have watched Ange for the last decade or so will say, well, hang on, he doesn't play with a number 6. Right. So I think half the battle here is I think me and you are on the same page on this bit. We want a number 6. Yeah. I want a number 6 that sits in front of that back four. That's so that when we lose the ball high up, we go, don't worry, he will mop it up. Don't worry, he will help the back 2, 3, whatever. I don't think Ange wants that. And from the way we play, I think you can see that he doesn't want that. So that's a worry. Yeah. Now, again, we'll never know. There's so many reports of, Ange wanted this guy, but he didn't want this guy. And normally what that tends to be is when a player's doing well, i.e. Mickey van der Ven, we go, Ange wanted him, right? When a player doesn't do well, we go, nah, it's a club signing, right? And it's been like that for years. Yeah. My worry is there are managers, as I keep saying, there are managers higher up the table than us with, again, like you said, no disrespect to those teams. Yeah. But that have got worse squads. They won't be buying the caliber of players we're buying. Yeah. But those managers will go, right, I know what I am as a manager. I know what club I'm at and what we can afford. I need to make this work. And that's what Bournemouth has got to be the case in point. In the last 12 months, Bournemouth have taken 5 more points than Spurs. Now, 5 points doesn't sound a lot. This is Bournemouth. We're Tottenham, who moved into this mega stadium, right, so that we can go and compete with City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. But instead, Bournemouth have overtaken us in the last calendar year, right? I'm not saying they're going to finish above us in the league, but they're at the moment, 4 or 5 points above us in the league. Yeah. If you look at their players, there's some good ones. There's some good players. Yeah. If I said to you and many other Spurs fans in the summer, do you know what? I think Bournemouth have got a better 11 than us. People would put me in a mental hospital. They'd put me in a straitjacket and go, shut up, you're negative. But their manager has got the best out of them. Yeah. He's got them playing a system that plays to everybody's strengths. The question I'm going to ask you, and by the way, the link is in the chat for the next person to come on. The question I'm going to ask you, Adam, who does this system under Ange, which player does this system get the best out of? Consistently good performances where you go, top player. Who gets the best out of it?
What, in our current side at the moment?
Yeah.
Well, I know that everyone has obviously rants up and down about Kulu, but he has been consistent under the system to a degree. He's gone from the right flank and then comes into the middle central defence. I would say he probably would be. I mean, maybe you might disagree, but I'm only just thinking from the games I've seen him, what I've watched him, he has been quite consistent. Yes, he has the odd lapse here and there, but he has driven that team at the outside when we need him, right? I mean, what do you think? Do you think I'm right, or do you think it's anyone else?
I think for me, I think Kulu has some really good games. And then I think he has games where he looks dreadfully lackadaisical on the ball. I think there's one thing I've noticed about Kulu, and he is a good player. I'm not saying he's not. There's a lot of times when the ball's played into him, he wants to wait for the ball to arrive to him rather than go and get it, and teams keep nicking it off him. And the fact that we can only really argue Kulu tells you a lot. Huh?
Papa Sarr?
I mean, for me, Papa Sarr has a good game every 3 or 4 games, and then for 2 or 3 games, I think he looks shit, if I'm honest. Yeah. But the point is, this system doesn't suit the centre-backs at all. Romero is not born to play this way. Mickey van der Ven, we can say it suits him, but we're killing his hamstrings, right? Porro and Udogie are not they're not inverted fullbacks. They are not fullbacks. So it doesn't suit them. James Maddison is not suited to playing in a formation where everyone inverts into midfield where he plays.
Yeah.
Brennan Johnson is not a right winger.
No.
Stunny isn't suited to playing wide left anymore.
No.
So Basuma is not a defensive midfielder. So when you look at the body of players, and that's a lot of our first team players there, I don't think he's getting the best out of any of them because I think they're all being played criminally out of position.
Ridiculous.
But just quickly, Adam, last thing I'll say.
Yeah.
If 3 or 4 of these went and played for Brentford, for Fulham, for Bournemouth, and they played in a more pragmatic style, I'm not saying negative, but a more pragmatic style of football where they're actually allowed to play in a formation that isn't trying to reinvent the wheel, I think you see a lot more of these players and they give 100%. It's just my opinion.
Well, that's, again, what you've just said and what I was saying earlier, because of the pragmatism, because you've got different options, different tactics, the players will get enhanced more. And my concern, along with that good question you asked, is that with Ange's system at the moment, I'm really concerned. It's clearly evident with the 2 central defence with VDV and Romero, that the injuries are mounting. And this is my concern. And I don't think the players are playing for him now. The last couple of games, they're not playing for him. You've heard about the issue about Maddison being dropped, then coming back in. Him, along with, I don't think they like his system because they're causing a lot of uncomfortableness in their playing style that he wants, which unfortunately is going to increase a high threshold of injuries. And I'm really concerned about it. And to go one more point, Savva, I think the key to a great manager is the one who can manage like Klopp did, like what Arne Slot's doing when he's just come in and settled in what Klopp did before. Klopp made ordinary players at Liverpool superstars. Obviously, we know Salah's been the key when they had Mane, when they had Firmino, etc. You're a good manager. I don't think obviously Ange's that. He's just normally just a manager. That's it. He oversees the training that I see on the videos on YouTube and stuff. I don't think he has that credentials to kind of just up the players' next potential level, really. And I think players are getting deflated.
Yeah, look, I keep saying this. If you were a pro footballer and let's say, again, look, let's say Chelsea and Spurs come in for you. Now, just for the purpose of this game, let's say Spurs and Chelsea both pay the same price to the club. We both have a £60 million bid accepted for a player, right? And we both offer the player 200 grand a week. Just for the purposes of this, we know Chelsea would blow us out of the water in reality.
Yeah.
But where are you going to go? Are you going to go to a club where people are being played in position? Chelsea have a very fluid style of play. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Their fullbacks aren't inverting. Their central midfielders look like a central midfield. The 2 wide men are allowed to actually go and be wide men. Palmer is allowed to do what he wants in midfield in terms from a creativity perspective. Where are you going to go? Are you going to go to this ANGE style of football where you are wide open all game, every game, and you are running around like headless chickens? Or are you going to go to the system where you think, hang on, look, they look organised?
I'm definitely going to go to a club that plays the right system. Definitely hands down, because it's just madness and criminal what Ange's doing. You know, again, this is not a personal attack on Ange. This is just more about his coaching abilities. And
too many people think it's personal, Adam. Too many. Listen,
yeah, I know, and I've read it.
When I say I don't like Ange, I don't mean as a human being.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know him as a human being. Do you know what I mean? It's like if I say, "Oh, I don't rate that actor," doesn't mean, "Oh my God!" Like, let me use an actor I like.
He's just talking from a coaching perspective. His footballing abilities, and you know, like I mean, I think, and then that's my other concern. I think with the players we keep getting linked to, when the half of it's just all kind of blown out the window, it's just over the top. I really think that behind the scenes, they don't want to come to Spurs because they've got to deal with a difficult chairman and owner who is just going to have his eye on the ball every single minute, every single second. And along with it, and as you know, Stel said, Ange's a yes man, unfortunately. You know, I mean,
it's difficult.
When he signed Timo Werner, that was for me again as well. That was a disaster.
That was a worry.
First time, fair enough. Second time, and Stel said it quite clearly on the Ben and Sims show last season, and he's proved right. You know,
look, the thing is, when we talk about the word yes man, I think the difficulty is, I understand, right, that, you know, no manager's going to come in here and go, I want that player or I leave. I get it, right? Yeah. to an extent, I think you're going to get that at a lot of clubs. Like, let's be fair. People keep talking about Chelsea, and again, things like this make me laugh. First of all, Chelsea don't have 3 top players in every position. This is not true. Chelsea have gone and bought a lot of young players that they are molding. This is a very lazy analysis because in the summer, Adam, everyone was telling me, we'll be above them. Chelsea's manager's crap. Their defense is crap. Caicedo and Fernandes, what a waste of money. Sancho's rubbish. Jackson's rubbish, right? Now, all of a sudden, Chelsea are flying.
Yeah.
These people now have all changed to, but Chelsea have spent $1 billion. Now, first and foremost, right? Chelsea spent a lot of money, but on a lot of young players.
Yeah.
The age of this, I'll tell you what, let's have a look at them, right?
Yeah.
When Spurs fans say that we have a young team, this is the team Chelsea started with yesterday, okay? From an age perspective. Right. Now we know Robert Sanchez in goal is 27, right? Caicedo at right back was 23. Badashile's 23. Colwell's 21. And then Cucurella's the old man of the defense at 26. Fernandes is 23. Lavia's 20. Neto's 24. Sancho's 24. Palmer's 22. And Jackson's 23. So they have 2 footballers over the age of 24 in their 11. So when we're saying they spent $1 billion, it's not like the days when they went out and bought Ballack and Deco and Drogba. They've bought young players that they're building into a team. Yeah. The excuses for this manager are just driving me crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you're right. I mean, it goes aligned with what we were trying to do when we bought players in the summer. You know, the idea about Project Youth. Well, I mean, what Project Youth? Bergvall, Archie Gray. I mean, where's what's his name that we signed from Blackburn that's gone on loan?
Ashley Phillips.
Phillips. I mean, they're not getting chances. Sorry?
He's gone to Stoke.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and the guy who's gone to Oxford, our striker, Dane Scarlett.
Yeah, Dane Scarlett.
I mean, Ange doesn't really even give him opportunities. I don't know what he's seeing in training and so forth. And it's just, this is where, like you said, I mean, I know Chelsea have amassed a lot of money. They're a lot more richer than us. But again, you see Savva, I beg your pardon.
No, you're right. No, God, you're right.
I'm very sorry.
I don't mind people call me Sav as long as they're, in the right context. It's all good, man.
So, again, it comes back down to the chairman. Okay, Chelsea's chairman's a bit gung-ho. The Americans' way, they like to come and change room, which I don't know if that's still going on with Chelsea, which I know as a no-no, managers don't like that. But you've got to have, like with Liverpool have with Fenwick, they've got a sporting pedigree. They've got something that they own. The problem is, as you know, and I'm lucky, we're lucky as fans to be in a position where we've got a healthy bank balance at the club and new stadium, fantastic, happy days, training facilities, state of the art, second to none. But it doesn't mean anything on the pitch. And that's the problem. If Levy could look at it psychologically, say, look, if we do well, like what Liverpool have done, have done in the past, and what even Chelsea done when they were winning, we could earn a lot more for him and for the club, and everyone would be happy. But I just do not understand the DNA. And I suppose I understood when Levy took over in the early 2000s, 24 years for one cup is just diabolical. And secondly, the fact that he came with a blueprint to say that they're going to make this club one of the state-of-the-art kind of football clubs where we're going to focus things off the field, which you can see now with the Formula One and everything else. And now this planning permission for this hotel behind the South Stand. I mean, it's great, and I'm doing concerts, but how does that relate into football terms? It's zero. And
look, we know that, right? And look, this goes back to what I said at the beginning. And by the way, people, listen, the link is out there. Get yourselves on. This is the chance. When I'm told I'm a what do they say? I'm a what's it called when everything's the same? What's the word I'm looking for? An echo chamber. When I'm told I'm an echo chamber, here's the chance to show that I'm not.
Are you going to protest, Savva?
Pardon?
Are you going to the protest? Because apparently
because I just don't think it would do anything, mate. But
on the 22nd December, I was thinking of going down there. I know from in the past, you and Sal and I speak to Phil quite a bit on the group as well. And
Adam,
I'm not being but I'm kind of motivated. I like to get things going in traction and keep trying. Don't just give up. But I think it's if this pressure with Ange continues, where we're not winning and so forth, I think it's a great opportunity to get more traction. I know what you're saying; it hasn't worked before, and Levy doesn't care, but I really think it's a golden opportunity to kind of reinstall. I mean, Man United, look at them when they had. I know the Glazers are an issue with them at the moment, but at least they came in force and in droves last season when they came on the pitch and things weren't going gung ho. And I think I've said it on Talk Sport as well. I said, as a fan base, we're 50-50 or kind of fickle, where some are just talking about things but not doing nothing. And I'm saying, if you don't take action, there's no action, right?
Yeah, but listen, my stance on that, Adam, was very much that we've waited so long to take action that we've actually allowed them to build the Goliath that they are. And
I understand.
Look for me.
But just one more thing. I'm plugging in constantly when I'm going on Talk Sport and putting Styles' name and his channel. I'll plug you in as well, mate. If it gets that traction, it gets that.
Look.
I don't mind.
At the end of the day, though, Adam. Look, at the end of the day, we can talk all day long about the bigger picture that is Levy and ENIC, and I will always fight that battle. What I find funny in our fan base at the moment is if you say you don't like Ange, it's you're letting the owner off. I'm not letting the owner off. They can be two separate conversations. Yeah. Just because I don't like Ange doesn't mean I like Levy, vice versa.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, for me, better managers right now would tweak, would adapt. You're playing Chelsea, who are banging form, form. And you're playing against Cole Palmer, who's been banging form for 18 months.
Great player, yeah.
Why on earth would you give him the freedom of the pitch to do what he wants? And they showed it last night on Match of the Day. Every time Fernandes and Lavia got the ball, especially in that first half, they showed the acres of space that Cole Palmer was in, because Spurs don't pick up players.
That's right.
These tactics are all about flying forward, and that's brilliant. But when you lose the ball, we look like it looks like the playground. It looks like the playground for me. Look, Adam, I do need to let you go.
No, Savva, it's been great to talk to you. Thanks for allowing me on, my man. I really appreciate it.
Always, man. Listen, I really enjoy that conversation. I think it goes to show that we can have football conversations without everybody losing their minds at each other. It is fine. But listen, thank you very much.
Savva,
I really appreciate it.
All the best, my man. Take care of yourself.
Take care, man. Thank you.
All the best. Thanks for living. Bye-bye.
No worries, man. You take care. Listen, love that. Absolutely brilliant call from Adam. You know what? Who else is going to come on? Who wants to come on and talk Tottenham with me? This is your choice, okay? This is your choice to do that. And at the end of the day, we can have a nice, simple conversation, but bring stats, bring some facts, bring some evidence, not feelings. The link is in the chat. It is pinned. But you know what? Feelings won't cut it. You can come on, but feelings won't cut it. Look, all I want is somebody to come on and tell me the pros to Ange. And nobody can at the moment. Right? No one can tell me the pros. It's a lot of feelings, and I feel this. And if we give him time, what is happening is, I was told this last season, give him time. I've given him time, and over time, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And then we get the excuse of the injuries. Then we get the excuse that players are tired. We're 15 games into a season. Why are players tired? We're 15 games into a season. These players, we're not in February or March. We're 15 Premier League games in. They shouldn't be tired. I'm not saying they have to play every God-given minute, but really they shouldn't be tired, should they? By the way, just to plug in, at 7:45, I will be on bigup.com doing a live watch along for West Ham versus Wolves, and I've titled the game what is it, the who will get sacked first derby. Nick Nichols wants to come on. Nick, how you doing?
How you doing, fella?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, nice to chat to you, Sav. I've been following you. I'm sort of on and off for a little while, but it's about Spurs. I've followed Spurs over 50 years, mate.
Yeah.
I've seen the good times.
How's that going for you?
Well, it's rapidly gone downhill, hasn't it? Badly.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yep.
You know, I saw the good times, like the 80, 81, Cup, UEFA Cup, Cup Winners' Cup, 2 FA Cups, you know, you name it, we was there. And this is just one manager after. People say, oh, blaming managers. You can't keep blaming managers here. You just can't. Not in my book, anyway. We've had 2 world-class managers, haven't been backed. We had Poch, hasn't been backed. I've been saying this for years, and for me, it's not managers anymore, although Ange's tactics are a bit mad. I mean, they're crazy, in fact, but it's gung-ho football. It's absolutely crazy. But for me, it's all about the board and Levy. Levy does not back any manager, not one. And when we get a chance to get a half decent player in, he quibbles over the wage or the price. I mean, you can go back to, there's so many players you can think have gone for our fingers because he doesn't want to pay the money. And it's as simple as that. And people have to get it into their heads now. Forget managers. This club is run by a thieving, rotten, I can't say the word. He fleeces our fans week in, week out. Yep, we are paying top. We are paying the highest prices, the highest. I've stopped going because I refuse to line that man's pocket.
Me too.
And I used to go home and away all the time. But it's done for me now. This man has ripped the heart and soul out of this club. He has ripped, and everybody now has resigned to it. They're just like, it's gone on for so long, it just doesn't matter anymore. And I feel that is just, supporters need to stop that. They need to get it into their heads that this man and this ownership are the major problem. Look at Grealish, for example, 25 million.
Yeah.
Villa wanted 35 million for him, and he quibbled over it. No, I'm only paying 20. Well, I'm only paying 20. He's gone for our fingers, and a season and a half later, he's at City for 100 million. This is crazy. It's just crazy. This man has ruined this club. He has ripped it. For me, he's just ripped the heart. Tottenham don't exist anymore. Although, as much as I follow the club, I'll always follow Tottenham, but the club do not exist anymore as a football club because he has ruined it. And now, at least I'm speaking from the heart, mate. Sorry. Rant.
No. Listen, that's what it's for, man. Listen, what do you mean? Sorry for ranting. I did an hour and a half rant earlier on why I don't like Ange. Look, Nick, I'm going to tell you, right? This is the thing. I 100% agree with you, apart from one bit. I do. Listen, I think when we're talking, I think sometimes we can look at micro or macro. I think what we're talking about here is micro and macro, and I'll tell you what I mean. I think the micro problem, is Ange. In the short, in the now, the tactics, the team, the performances, the results is Ange.
No, I can't disagree with that. Right. It's just crazy football.
It is, but the macro problem is Daniel Levy and Enoch. Now, this is where I think this is what I've said. I think the club is rotten from top to bottom, Nick. Right? And I think a lot of people get me wrong. When I say I don't rate Ange as a manager, that does not absolve Daniel Levy of his responsibilities. But my issue is this. Again, do I think I'm going to bring the league table up? All right, I'll bring the league table up, Nick. Hopefully, it might cover your face, unfortunately, but there it is.
That's no bad thing.
There we go. Look, there you go. Both of our sexy faces are on the left. Look, as you see from this league table, right? Do I think Tottenham should be where Chelsea and Liverpool are? No, Nick, I don't. I don't think we've got the players for that. Do I think Tottenham should be behind Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth, Brighton and Nottingham Forest? No, I don't in any way, shape or form. So for me, there's 2 big issues here. Again, the micro is I think Ange is doing a terrible job with what is available to him because I think his tactics are dreadful. The bigger problem, the macro problem is why aren't we challenging where Chelsea and Liverpool are and where Man City are year in, year out? When we've had the owners for 25 years and they should have built on the platform and taken us there. So for me, this falls into that bucket, Nick, of 2 things can be true at once. But for me, the manager, and let's be fair, Nick, listen, you said you supported Spurs for 50 odd years, right? That means you know football, right? We know managers.
I know a good side when I see one, and this is not a good side.
Exactly.
But when you look at the when you look under Potts, we had a decent side. I mean, we had a brilliant side under Potts. It's the best football since the 80s, but completely not backed. You know, it's just, for me, you can bring out all the things over the manager. You can bring out all the things about the table. The table doesn't lie, as far as I'm concerned. We are not good enough.
Nick, let me.
But if you're 2-0 up, the manager should know that you then have to drop your team back. To stop all this gung-ho football crap. It's madness.
Let me land my point. I completely agree. But what I was going to say is, you've watched football for 50 years. I've watched football for 40 years. Across our near 100 years of watching football, we all know that managers will bite the bullet. We know that, right? Because as much as we might not like owners, right, they're owners for a reason. So if I go and work for, I'll just pick a massive company. If I go and work for Santander Bank, I might think the CEO or the general country manager of the UK of Santander, I might think they're a prick. I might think they're rubbish. I hate what you've done. Ultimately, can they sack me? Yes, because they've got the power, right? So do I think Levy's done a good job? Infrastructure, training ground, sure, knock yourself out. As a football fan, I don't give a crap about how good the stadium is. I don't care how pampered the players are.
This is what annoys me. This is what I get upset about when I hear these fans going, "Oh, look at the stadium he's built us." He didn't build that stadium. He have investors. Investors put money into that stadium. It's not Enoch. They might have put a certain amount in there, but they certainly didn't, pay for it all. You have investors. And I should imagine the NFL would have invested in that as well. Big time, because it's worth billions to the NFL because it gets,
yeah, of course.
Gets sent over there. It's not. This is he's greed, and it is pure greed by this man.
I agree.
And when you look on the website, Sav, just look at the website. Come to the Tottenham Entertainment thing. Tottenham Hotspur is not even fucking mentioned. I mean, that is a disgrace in itself.
Nick, not the F word. Nick, not the F
Sorry,
word.
I apologise.
Sorry, I'm not offended by the F word. But
I'm just upset how my club has gone after following them all these years. And I just think it's an absolute disgrace.
Nick, I agree. But let me ask you a question. And this is something I don't think enough people talk about. Right? I want new owners. You want new owners. I'm guessing most people want new owners. And this is a question to everybody in the chat as well. But Nick, I'm going to ask you directly and we'll leave them to chat about it in there. I asked this yesterday, right? If, I don't know, let's say my next door neighbour's a multi-billionaire. He's worth £100 billion, right? I would be worried why he's living in my road. But if my next door neighbour he's worth 100 billion and he says, or he or she says, I'm buying Tottenham Hotspur. And we wake up tomorrow morning and we go, there we go. Wow, look at our new owner. And the new owner says, I am going to chuck in whatever it takes to make this club successful, right? Here's my question. Do you want Ange to be the guy that gets that money with these tactics?
Oh, no, definitely not.
Right,
definitely not.
So Nick, there's my point, right? I want the owners out. I want managers to be backed.
Yeah, but a new owner would always automatically bring a new manager in anyway, a top manager.
I do not want these tactics to be the ones that we spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions on, because I don't care whether you gave this manager the best players in the world. These tactics stink. He doesn't, you said it just now, he doesn't realise, and Jamie Carragher said it yesterday, Glenn Hoddle said it today, you're 2-0 up, take the sting out the game for 10 minutes. Tell your players, sit in.
You have to drop back. You have to drop back. Exactly. It's basic football knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just madness. But I've said to my brother a few times, he laughs at me. But if someone came up and said to Levy, I'll tell you what, I don't want the stadium. You can keep all the crap that's in there, your go-karting and all that. Just sell me the name, Tottenham Hotspur, and give me the players, and I will go and build a new stadium up the road, rename it, buy top fucking players to put in there, and you can keep your little empire. I'd love that for me. But my brother last year says but That's what it needs. It needs something drastic now. Because
I agree.
get this one right. You know yourself. You go over there. Well, you don't know if you still go or not.
I won't pay him anymore. I used to.
Well, there you go. See, that's the same. But
he makes me money now.
How can he justify? How can this man justify making supporters pay the top money in the Premier League to go and watch Spurs, and yet we've won nothing? City fans don't even pay that. They've won the treble. They've done 5 titles in a row, and they don't even pay half of what we're paying. How can he justify that?
I'll tell you why he justifies
and yet they fleece it up. And yet these fans, they gobble it up. Oh, because he knows if one fan turns around and says, oh, F this, someone else is going to come along. All you got now is Korean happy clappers. The support has been ripped out of the heart of the support has been ripped from the club. And this is what he wants. This is all this man wants.
Nick, it's supply and demand. You know this, right? The reason Daniel Levy could turn around to everyone and say, right, every ticket is £125 every game. Just for example.
It's 80 quid for the cheapest, isn't it?
Yeah, but hang on. He could say £125 every ticket. He would still have 62,000 people for every game. Because
exactly.
There's a 60,000 waiting list. Right, there's a 60,000, I believe the last time I looked, 60,000 season ticket waiting list. That's why Daniel Levy can do it. People won't vote with their feet. People will go. Man City don't charge that. One, they wouldn't be able to because of where they are in the country. So Man U, Man City, they can't charge what we do. We're in London. So that point is a bit iffy, right? But at the end of the day, I made a decision as a fan, Nick, to say, I'm not paying you anymore, because if I'm paying you 90 quid, some of the tickets, if I'm paying you 90 quid and I've got to go over to North London, I'm going to spend however much money throughout a day.
So what's that, Dross?
I don't want to watch inverted fullbacks, Brennan Johnson, Timo Werner, and a past its son, Dominic Solanke. If I'm paying £90 a ticket, I want to be watching. I want us to be signing Declan Rice's.
Well, this is I've said to a few of my friends, you know, we could have had Eze and maybe Tony for the same money that we paid for Werner and those two young kids. It's absolutely crazy. You know, you've got Eze, the top player. Tony's going to bang goals in. Don't care about his gambling thing. You know, the club will say to him, like, they'll sort that out. But we could have got those two top players for the same money. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and I just don't get it.
But the difference between we could have got those two for the same money, it's not the same money. This is the thing.
Yeah, but you're getting top players. Look what Liverpool and City and all them do. They bring 1 or 2 top players in every season. They don't go gung ho with all this 5 youngsters and 6 youngsters and all this rubbish. It's not right. You cannot win anything doing that. You're not going to win nothing.
Nick, I agree. But the difference is it's not the same cost. If you brought in, who is it? You used Eze and Tony as an example.
Right? Yeah, as an example.
Okay, so if you bring in, I agree with you, by the way, but if we brought in Eze and Tony for the same price as what Werner and whoever you said, Gray, whatever, right? Yeah. If you bring in Eze and Tony, how much salary do you think Eze and Tony want a week?
It doesn't matter what they want. See, this is the problem. That's why we need new owners that will pay the salaries to get these top players in.
Nick, you got to let me finish. But this is the point, Nick. It does matter what they want, because the problem you've got now is if we go and buy Archie Gray, right? And we go, right, Archie Gray is going to be, I don't know, 50, 60 grand a week. I don't know what Archie Gray's on, right? 50, 60 grand a week over a 4 or 5 year contract is whatever it is. Now you go and buy Eze and you say, Eze, what you joining for? I want 250 grand a week. I'm just spitballing. That 250 grand a week over 5 years is a hell of a lot of money, right?
Yeah, but you're getting a hell of a player, aren't you?
I don't doubt that, but the two things don't marry up to Daniel Levy. We won't do that because If you then put Eze on 250 grand a week, right? Everyone's going to want 250 grand a week. This is where the owners don't want to do it. They don't want to do. I agree with you. We should be getting them. But the difference between these owners and other owners is they don't care about the success on the pitch. They don't. We know that, Nick. How many times have we seen it, right? We will do whatever we can to get top 4 because Daniel Levy wants the Champions League money, right? But when we get in the top 4, have we ever gone out and bought Champions League players?
Of course not, because you won't do it. And this is why I keep saying that, you know, you can, regardless of the manager, I know this manager has to go, but regardless of managers, it all stems from this man Levy. And Spurs fans need to get to grips with this, because he has got these Spurs fans in such a position now where they just accept it. And for me, it's only, you know, going back to the 80s when, like I said, we was a feared club in cups, in Europe. No one wanted to play us. Nobody wanted to play us. We've got top signings in. I mean, we bought top players, you know, and now look at us. We are a laughing stock. We are a laughing stock. You know, Tamworth might be sitting in their dressing room, absolutely crapping their pants. With us not coming down.
Nick, we're a laughing stock because of that, but we're also a laughing stock because of how easy we are to play against, right? Now, again, let's take it from the macro to the micro. Rico, you're not coming on. Stop trying to come into the chat. I'm not having another conversation with you about Daniel Levy, Rico, unless you tell me you want to debate. Let me know in the chat what you want to debate. I've got something to say. Okay, tell me in the chat what you want to debate. Look, again, when we're talking about the micro and the macro, fans that I know, right, of football, my friends who have nothing to do with Tottenham, they are laughing at me going, you guys
Oh, absolutely. All my front mates banter me up to something wrong.
Right. But Nick,
you have to take it, unfortunately.
But they're messaging me saying, you guys are so bad tactically. Like, you are so wide open. And they find it entertaining because it's end to end. No one wants to turn around and tell the truth. If this manager plugged some gaps, plug the gaps, stop making it so easy for wingers to get at us. Yeah. Mark Jadon Sancho in a game like yesterday. Mark Cole Palmer. This guy's not got it up there. So I don't want a new owner to come in and go, do you know what? Ange is the one that's going to get £1 billion. I don't want this guy to have the money. I think it's suicidal.
I mean, I'll give Ange, I gave him a chance, and then I think it's the last sort of month really that's turned me now, and I'm thinking this is just, it's not vital. I mean, when you look at someone like Van der Ven, who's a top player, let's get it right, and he's running now twice in a season. Well, you know, last season, back at the start of this season, he's done his hamstring. Why? Because he's running back 100 miles an hour. You know, how long before you're going to ruin him and he's not going to be able to play?
Agreed, but this is the thing. I think a lot of the times when our fans say things, and a lot of what I'm hearing at the moment is injuries. Right, well, first of all, every club has injuries, right?
Oh, let's get this right, Sam. We beat City with injuries, so I'm not buying that excuse.
Right, okay, but this is my point. We use the injury card when we want, right? The problem with this is if you look at a lot of these injuries that are starting to be hamstrings, right? The reports I'm hearing...
Exactly, you have to put it back on the manager then.
Right, but the reports I'm hearing is that he drills them into the ground in training, right? He never rotates. So you don't ever see Archie Gray come in for a Premier League game. You don't see Bergvall come in for a Premier League game. You don't see Reggie come in, Jed Spence come in. He picks the same team all the time.
Well, the thing with Jed Spence, I think, is an absolute disgrace. That man should be playing.
No, I know, but that's not, again, and that's not, my point is that this guy decides to run them into the ground in training. This guy decides that he's not going to rotate ever. And the same fans in our fan base that were saying, it's a youth project. We've had a really good window. And now the same fans going, oh, Ange wasn't backed. Hang on, make your minds up, people. You wanted a youth project. You got your youth project. You told me I was negative for saying the window was shit. Now that we have a few injuries, it's, but he wasn't backed. Hang on. Ange came out himself and said, I don't want another defender. I don't want to block the path for Phillips and Vuskovic.
I mean, how can you call that a good window when you signed Timo Werner? For God's sake, the man's let's get it right. He's rubbish. He's absolute pants. You know, and it's just, that's what I'm saying. These crazy signings. You know, it's just not good enough for me. And if the fans let this go on, well, I again, people laughed at me at the start of the season. I said to quite a lot of people, I can see us being in a relegation battle. No, like we're going to be we're going to be in the top 4. No, we're not. Because when I looked at the window and saw the players that we had, all I could see was a relegation fight. And I'm starting to be proved right now, because we are slipping down that table so quick. We are definitely going to be in some sort of relegation fight, because we are not good enough. It's not good enough.
I do have a couple of people waiting, so listen, I'm going to have
to... it's been brilliant to talk to you, mate. I just wanted to mention...
No, absolutely. Listen, absolutely. I've loved having you on. Look. I don't think we'll be in a relegation fight. There are a lot of bad teams.
I know there's 3 teams a bit worse than us, but it only takes us to lose another 3 or 4 games, and we're in serious trouble, mate. Let's get it right.
Let this sink in before I let you go. Last thing I'll say, let this sink in, right? West Ham, who everyone has been laughing at this season. Everyone is saying their manager tonight, if he loses, gets the sack, right? If they win tonight, they're 2 points behind Tottenham Hotspur.
Exactly. That's just what I'm saying.
This is the manager we're saying he should get the sack, whilst we're saying our manager, who's been
manager's so great, a
year longer, is brilliant. And this is where, look, I'm going to let you go. Nick, thank you very much. Take care, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. Good night.
See you later, mate.
Have good work. Bye.
Cheers, mate. Bye. Right, against my better judgment, I'm going to let Rico on. He desperately got something he wants to say. I know how this will go, but we'll bring him on. Rico, you're back. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Steph?
I'm all right, mate. I have no idea what you want to debate with me this time, but let's do it. Let's go.
Well, I don't think we're going to disagree this time, to be honest.
Okay.
Well, I want to say, first of all, obviously not to, start an argument or nothing, but I don't appreciate being insulted. I haven't insulted you, Steph.
Dude, get to your point. Come on, what gets your point?
Right, fair enough.
Get to your point. I'm not here. I'm not a child. I don't need to apologize because you feel
I didn't ask to apologize. I'm just saying I don't appreciate being insulted. But anyway,
what's your point? What's your point?
My point is, yeah. Obviously, you spoke about ANGE, you spoke about Levy. I want to blame a set of people that I haven't heard anybody speaking about, and that's your fans, mate. That's your fans. And do you know why I'm going to blame your fans? Because I'm not saying you. I don't know if you fall under this category, but I'm going to blame a lot of your fans, mate. And you're going to say I'm making it an Arsenal. I swear I'm not making it an Arsenal thing.
Go on.
May 14th,
I'm all ears.
Tottenham Hotspur played Manchester City at home. You could have got, if you won that game, you Villa go to, what was it, Palace on the weekend, maybe, and you actually would have got top 4 because they lost that Palace game. Was it 5-1 or something? And Tottenham fans were writing in their they were sending letters to Levy saying we need to lose a game. Your fans were booing Son when he was going through on goal. They were all saying we need to lose this game. We don't care about top 4. We need to lose this game. Andrew's out here. He's shocked me. You can't believe it. He's come from the Old Firm club. You can't believe that fans actually want to lose a game just because another team might win the league, right? Wait. If you guys beat Man City that day, put some more energy into it. Actually had some atmosphere in the ground because Spurs played well that day. Actually turned up to win, right? But when the whole stadium wants you to lose, I actually think Son missed out on purpose because of your fans. Right. Because of your fans. Right. If you get top 4 that day, Levy get some of the money, you might actually have improved.
Rico. First of all, listen, I'm one of the first people that will criticize fans, club, players, whatever. First of all, I don't know of anyone that wrote a letter into Daniel Levy. Right?
They did.
Based on what evidence?
No, I heard this. No, there was articles about it that fans were actually writing into Levy. There's even YouTubers. There's YouTubers that have admitted that they wrote into Levy. I can give you YouTubers that have done it.
Spurs YouTubers. I'm going to say that I don't believe that in any way, shape, or form. I've not seen anyone do that. Second of all, this whole people wanting to lose to Arsenal has been blown, wanting to lose to City so that Arsenal don't win the league. This has been well well blown out of proportion. I think there were a few people that were saying it, and now it's labeled at every Spurs fan. No one I know wanted Spurs to lose that game. I never said I wanted Spurs to lose that game. I don't remember anyone booing Son as he went through on goal. Like that feels very made up to me. I don't remember anyone talking about that. I don't remember that being reported. And third and foremost, we actually did play well in that game against Man City, right? So all of this, if we had applied ourselves a bit more, we played well. But you know what? Man City were bloody good. They're Man City, right? So I don't get your point. You're ringing up about one game last season. Man City can beat anyone on their day.
Can I come in there?
So what point are you trying to make?
Well, I can show you. If you actually go and type in videos, you'll see Spurs fans that were singing "Blue Moon" when City won that game in the stadium. So a lot. I don't know
Rico,
any Spurs fans that wanted to win that game.
What point are you trying to
make? My
point
point is you can't get onto Levy for saying, "Oh, you don't want to win. You don't want to win." But then I'm not saying you specifically, because you're saying you wanted to win that game. But you guys, when it's time to actually win a game and get Champions League, you wanted to lose. So you can't get onto Levy about, oh, you want
Rico.
to. You want
who
to
is you?
And
what you? Rico, again, see, this is what I love about people like you. You take something very small, right, and make it the whole fan base, right?
No,
I don't know. As I said, I don't know anyone personally that said we must lose. I know people that said, I know the people that had my opinion. And anyone who asked me, do you want to lose to Man City? I said, I don't think it matters. I think Man City are going to win it. They're trying to win a title, right? So for me, I think that you're coming on to try and antagonize, right? I don't know. You are. You do this a lot. I don't actually feel like you've got a point. A few Spurs fans might have wanted to lose that game. That doesn't mean the majority of our fan base doesn't deserve some form of success. And again, Rico, this is driven by your absolute dribble and not understanding our club, not understanding Daniel Levy and what he hasn't done for our fan base. Yeah, you keep coming on as an Arsenal fan and talking about how good Daniel Levy is and what he's done, and we've got to give him credit. At the end of the day, Daniel Levy's put us in this position. Daniel Levy's made us not winners. He's made us non-winners. He hasn't given us a winning mentality. He's done that, not the fan base. He done that. So you can come in, you can have a pop. I can have a pop at my fan base. It's my fan base. You can't have a pop at my fan base.
I can have a pop. I can have a pop at your fan base.
You can, but what you're saying is wrong. So you can.
Sav, if you honestly are telling me that the majority, I'd say probably 70 to 80% of Spurs fans didn't want to lose that game, I think you're being dishonest there. Like, I can name you Spurs fans, Spurs accounts, YouTube accounts. I probably can name you about 5, 10, maybe just off the top of my head.
We'll go with your lie. Okay. We'll go with your lie. 80%, apparently 80%, blah, blah, blah. Look, at the end of the day, listen, at the end of the day, I don't know anyone that said it, right? Personally, I don't know anyone that said it. At the end of the day, I don't know what that's got to do with anything. This Spurs wanting to lose to City thing is getting blown out of all proportions.
Do you know who Patrick Tyrant is?
I know who Patrick Tyrant is, yeah.
You wanted to lose that game.
Fine.
So that's the Spurs fan you knew that wanted to lose that game. Do you know Jords? Do you know Durag Diaries, Jords?
Oh my God!
He wanted to lose that game.
Listen, first of all, I don't want to talk about other Spurs YouTubers, right? It's not my place to do.
You don't have to, but I'm just telling you.
Right, Rico. But I still don't get your point.
I'm just saying, I think Spurs fans as well are culpable for where your club is now. It's all going to point the finger at Levy, but Levy could have actually got the Champions League money that day if Spurs maybe actually put up a fight. The fans, not the club,
Rico,
again, and maybe he would have actually had a better transfer window, and you wouldn't be. And also for Ange, yeah, Rico, you got to remember, Levy did not want to appoint Ange. Ange was his 9th choice.
Rico. Do you know how I know where you've just... listen, do you know what? Half of me always thinks, yeah, he's genuine. The other half of me just thinks you're a troll. And I'll tell you why you're trolling.
How am I trolling?
Rico, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you how you're trolling. Anybody that knows Daniel Levy and knows this football club will tell you. And I'll ask everyone in my chat. There's over 450 people in this chat right now, right? How many times, guys, have Spurs made the Champions League in the last 24 years under Daniel Levy? Somebody will be able to tell me, however many times it is, 6, 7, whatever it is. Might be wrong, right? Somebody 5, 6, 7, whatever it is. Now, the second part of that question, how many times that we have qualified for the Champions League has Daniel Levy spent that money on proper players to go and compete? So when I've got people like this guy, I'm going to call you right out to your face right now. When I've got people like you going, but Daniel Levy would have had more money and he would have spent it really well and you could have competed and had a better transfer window. You don't know what you're talking about. That never happens with Daniel Levy. Never, ever, ever, ever has we qualified for the Champions League and gone, there's 2 or 3 top players. We never do it. So your point is wrong. You are factually wrong.
All right. So I never said you was going to go out and sign 2, 3 top players. And
you said
but
we would have had a better
you would have had a better transfer window and you would have had a better budget. That's fact. That's fact. You would have had a better budget. But and as well, yeah, you can say we don't sign top players, but you know, Savva, you're going to disagree with me. I know you are, but City didn't build their squads by just signing top players. Like that's not really how successful teams are now. You don't sign, like even Chelsea now, they're doing pretty well. They haven't signed just a bunch of top players. Like now it's more about signing players that are about to become top players. And Levy has done that for years. And also, if you want to go down the money route again, which we've done to death, but he has spent money, Sav. I saw it the other day. He spent the 4th most in the last 5 years, mate. So he is competing with the big boys.
Rico, do you know why? Do you know why everyone in my chat thinks you chat shit? I know you get offended by
they're Spurs fans. They hate me.
No, they don't. They don't like you because they know you're talking absolute waffle.
But Sav, do you know, like I've got a lot of Arsenal
Rico,
that listen to this as well. And they actually agree with me.
Let me talk, right? Let me talk, right? So Daniel Levy, yes, Daniel Levy spent a lot of money in the last 5 years. We're right up there. What's the difference between Daniel Levy doing it and the other clubs doing it, Rico?
What's your point?
I'm asking you a question. What's the difference when Daniel Levy does it and when Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, City do it?
You said more than Liverpool.
It's not what I asked you. Right. 2 of these, 1 of these, right?
Yeah.
Answer the question. What's the difference when Spurs spend big money, when Chelsea do, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man U, City, Newcastle, Villa, whoever it is, when these clubs spend big money, what's the difference between them and when Tottenham do it?
You're going to say player quality.
No, I'm not. Go on. What's the difference?
Then honestly, I don't know. If it's not that the players that the other clubs are signing are better, then I don't know what you're saying.
Right. The difference is, Rico, is that we will go and buy players that don't have huge wages. We will go and buy the players the next level down because we won't pay the wages Liverpool will, Chelsea will, City will, United will, Arsenal. These clubs pay massive wages compared to Tottenham Hotspur. And this is why when people like you just look at a surface number, this is the problem. This is the difference between someone who's done their research and someone that wants to come on and troll. If you actually do your research, Tottenham Hotspur have 4 footballers over 100 grand a week. 4. Right? Arsenal has something like 13. Right? There's a huge difference. And when you pay the bigger wages, you get the better players. So yes, Spurs have gone and spent a lot of money, but that money is spread out. So we don't go and buy, if we spend 150 million in a transfer window, we don't spend that on 3 quality players. We'll spend 150, 200 million on 7 or 8 footballers that all cost 30, 40 million, that all want 50, 60, 80 grand a week. There's a reason they want that money because they're not the next level up that we need. So yes, Daniel Levy has spent a lot of money, not his own money, my ad, not the company's money, Tottenham's money that we've generated, right? But we don't buy that next level up. So again, you've come here with a debate, with an argument that you don't really understand. And unfortunately for you, you're wrong.
All right. So what I'll say to that is, and I said this to you last time, you don't, and again, this is no disrespect, but Spurs can't go and sign the quality of players that United, Chelsea, and put them on the big wages because number one, you don't rake in the money those clubs do, and number two, Rico,
again, you've just said something that's factually incorrect. Yes, we do.
My God.
Rico,
so you think Spurs around the globe they sell as much commercially as Man United?
No,
you honestly believe that?
Spurs,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Rico,
I'm saying you don't bring in as much money as those clubs. But even if you do, fine. Even if you do, right? I'm saying we're the
8th richest club in the world, Rico.
According to
Forbes.
We're the 8th
richest club in world football.
According to Forbes.
We are the 8th richest club in Rico. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you, mate. I don't really want you calling in again. You.
But can I just say one thing as well?
No, you can't. No, I'm bored of you. I'm bored of you.
But it's a rebuttal, though.
Rico, I'm bored of you. My chat is bored of
Sav,
you now.
You got to tolerate people that have different opinions.
This isn't a different opinion. You keep coming up with lies, right?
What's that lie about?
Rico, so you're telling me Tottenham Hotspur couldn't have got Pedro Neto, Eze, players like that?
Would Pedro Neto turn down Chelsea for Tottenham Hotspur?
Pedro Neto was offered to Spurs, right? We were in talks before Chelsea were. We wouldn't pay his wages.
But I'm not being, how much is he on?
Rico, let me finish. You asked me a question, let me finish, right? These players are better than what we've got. We had the opportunity to sign both, wouldn't pay their wages.
But if you were in the Champions League, how do you know you wouldn't have bought them?
Because Daniel Levy doesn't do that. I'm cutting you off. You're annoying me. See you later, mate. You're annoying. Please stop coming into the
You can't just
calling
cut people off because you lost the debate. You got schooled again.
Dude, schooled again. You're a clown. You can't even show your face.
You can't just cut people off because you got schooled again. That's not fair.
Right, schooled. Let's talk about schooled. I'll tell you what. You know my club better than me, yeah? You know my club better than me.
Not better than you. I just have a different opinion.
No, but this isn't an opinion. Right, this isn't an opinion.
It literally is an opinion.
Rico, shut up. This isn't an opinion.
Sav,
right?
you're getting rattled now. You need to calm down.
I'm getting rattled because you're a dick. You're being a dick.
You're getting red. Sav,
I'm going to ask you a question. You tell me when Daniel Levy has ever bought better players with Champions League money. I'll sit here and wait.
Well, Sav, the thing is, if I do that, you're going to tell me. Look, I'm trying to answer it. I'm trying to answer it, but you keep cutting me off. But
you're not going to give me names of players, are you? Go on.
Because if I do, you're just going to tell me, oh, they weren't good. I went at the time they weren't good.
Name them then. Name them.
Ndombele. See? But he was a top player. Ndombele was a top player.
What are we doing here?
He was a good player.
All right. Let's play your game. Ndombele. Go on.
Sorry?
Yeah, go on. Ndombele.
Yeah, Ndombele. Well, to be honest, now a few have gone over my head. But Son was a good player.
You ain't got anyone. You ain't got anyone, mate.
Son was a good player at the time.
Who?
Son.
You mean Sonny that we bought for about 18 million about 10 years ago?
He was a good player. He was highly rated at the time. He was top player.
No one said he wasn't, but that's not the question I asked. Tell me when we got into the Champions League and this guy went, I am backing a manager and we're going to go and buy top players. Tell me when it happened.
I've got one for you, but you're not going to agree with me.
I don't want one.
Richarlison was a good player. Sav,
sorry, guys. The moment he said Richarlison, I can't listen to his shit anymore. Sorry if he wound me up there. I can't listen to that guy. Richarlison. I mean, God. Big up, Mark. Please make me sane again. Please make me sane. I tried with the guy.
Mate, he doesn't know his own Arsenal history. Me and Savva have been alive long enough to see Arsenal win leagues and Man United and having all the abuse before that. You know, what is he talking about? The man's a complete... You know what? Go to Arsenal YouTubes and stay on their channels.
Yeah, man. It's hard work. Do you know what? That's what I wanted. When his first two answers are Ndombele and Richarlison, you kind of feel like, you know, you kind of feel that what are we doing here, right? Mark, how's it going? What you got to say? Listen, I've got Mark, then Minerals, then Joe, and then after that I will be stopping. I need to get through you three in 15 minutes because I need 10-minute break before my watch along. Mark, talk to me.
Just very quickly, I just wanted to say I didn't think Chelsea played that great. I thought they were 65, 70% worth. And I think if they'd have been 90, 95, we would have been at Bash 7-2. So they're another team like Galatasaray, like Man City. If any of these teams actually played anywhere near their potential, we'd be even worse than we already are. I didn't celebrate both goals that went in from Spurs. Unlike you, Savva, I jump up, scream, that, and the other. I didn't because I knew this was going to happen. Everybody could see it. Everybody apart from What do I do next, Ange, mate?
I agree with you. Do you know what? I think Chelsea are a very good team. I think, by the way, most Spurs fans absolutely wrote them off in the summer. We're going to finish above them. Their players are shit. Their manager's shit. Funnily now all the Spurs fans are going, oh, but they've got really good players. It's quite funny that. Listen, I think Chelsea are really good. I thought yesterday it took them a bit of time to get into the game.
Yeah.
When they did get into the game, they bossed it. I thought they bossed it in midfield. Sancho bossed us on that wing. Cole Palmer, again, we don't put anyone on him. At the end of the day, I thought we were well beaten by a team that slipped up, gave us 2 goals, and still came back at our own ground to beat us. It's just truly embarrassing. Again.
Well, as I said before, I think if these teams get more clinical against us, not the mid to bottom teams, but the better footballing teams with the better players. Oh my goodness me! You look at it, could be double figures. We're that bad, and if I know we missed a couple of chances, but they had 17 shots. If half of them go in, and there were some good chances. As I said, like the Galatasaray, we were so lucky in that game. It's ridiculous. You can't keep relying on luck every game. And this manager is just relying on luck. That's all he's relying on.
See, let me show you an example of what I mean by Spurs fans, how much we belittle. Look at the state of this. Parma FC. Chelsea ripped us a new one.
Did he not see that midfielder? Did he not see that?
Mate, this is what we do. Look, we're so starved of success that we belittle better teams. Lavia was brilliant yesterday, first half. I thought Enzo Fernandez was absolutely brilliant. Sancho was good.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer was excellent. I thought Caicedo, obviously, other than the tackle, I thought he was excellent. And we're going Parma FC. I mean, this is what we do. This is a team that are 11 points clear of us. Yeah, we think they're 11 points clear of us because of one player. I mean, it's absolutely, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's utterly ridiculous. Also, another point I just want to quickly bring up, Savva. I don't know if you know this or I don't know this, but if everything focuses to the first team, are the youth team playing this way to get them ready to play first team?
Great question. I truly hope our kids are not playing this style of football. It's tactically, honestly, I speak to coaches and people who work within football all the time, and they're all saying the same thing, that this guy, it's a vanity project. This guy is not setting us up to be a good football team. He's setting us up to be so wide open. And I don't know about you, I'm just so bored of seeing teams open us up game after game after game, shots game after game, balls flashing across our box, Forster saving us, keeping us in the game. I don't think it's good football. I think it's some of the worst I've seen. I think it's dreadful.
Playground football. It's what you do 20, 30 minutes in. You've got half an hour lunchtime break. You go out there with your mates and it's 10, 12 or 7, 9. That's all it is, mate. That is all it is. There's no structure. There's nothing. It's absolute. I know we haven't got a number 6 or this, that, and the other, and we didn't buy this or this, that, and the other. But surely, even with this side should be 5th or 6th, not where we are. Even if even if we were dreadful, 7th, then not 11th. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And I think this sums it up. He said it's vanity now. He wants to prove Ange Ball can work, but it won't. And I think that, listen, Mark, I will need to let you go because I'm going to have to rattle through people very quickly now. So that I was going to end at past, but I'm not now. For me, I just think that nothing is getting better. I say for me, factually, nothing is getting better, and Spurs are going that way. And we can all just sit there and go, it's Levy, but this team last season finished 5th. So why suddenly the drop to? Look, I don't know, Mark. We'll see what happens. But listen, mate. I was going to say I'll speak to you next week. I won't. I'm on holiday. So
enjoy your holiday, mate.
Thank you so much, Mark. I'll speak to you soon, mate. You take care.
All right, mate. Bye.
Thanks, mate. Bye-bye. I'm going to bring on Minerals. Minerals, you've got, sorry, Joe, I'm going to bring in Minerals. Sorry, Minerals was next. Sorry. Big up, Minerals. You've got 2 or 3 minutes, man, because I need to rattle through. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. It's been a while. You know what I'm saying? I don't know
I know
anymore.
what you're saying. Let's get to the football point. We can do the pleasantries another day.
Listen, Ange is finished. Savva, I think people owe you this, because like I was trying to defend him, you know what I'm saying? But now it's the end of the road, like boys to men, you know what I'm saying? Like the problem you have now is like you can't defend. Like you guys like are so penetrable, you know what I'm saying? Like if Andrew's in the military, like he would die. You know what I'm saying? He's defenseless. You know?
Look, I completely agree with you. This is part of football, and I think fans have lost this. A lot of fans seem to think that an attacking team is one that is just wide open. But attacking teams normally are built off the base of a good defense and a well-structured in midfield. And just forgotten all of that, or isn't capable of all of that. And unfortunately, we've got a lot of football fans in this day and age that don't want pragmatism. They think that pragmatism is negativity, and it's not. Pragmatism is what you need to succeed.
Yeah, you need balance in football, you know what I'm saying?
Balance, yep.
But that's the problem with certain fans, and your fans like want this entertaining football, and you know what I'm saying? Like personally, for me, the Chelsea game, like Chelsea are simply better than you guys. That's not a fact. Caicedo, Palma, all those guys bust you. The problem is, again, it's the same all season. You guys are losing games, in my opinion, personally, because they're missing the opportunities. You guys, for me, have lost games this season because you miss a lot of opportunities, and and your defense get nervous because Ange hasn't recruited well in the attack. And
look, I mean, listen. I feel that we have a lot of shots against us every game because of how wide open we are. There's going to be games.
That's the risk, and why I was defending Ange. That's the risk of being such attacking, you know.
Sure, but what football team takes that risk every single game? Like there are games where you have to take the risk. You know, I'm talking about 2-legged semi-finals. You lose the first leg 2-0. You've got to go out. You've got to take a risk. You need to get back in that game. Spurs from the off in every game take a risk.
Yeah,
and
that's the issue.
I agree.
And that's the issue. But for me, it's like being in the military, Sav. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna die at some point. Like that's what Ange is thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go out on the field, like you have to die on your gun. You know what I'm saying? That's what Ange is dying on. He's dying on his philosophy, and that will cost him inevitably, because like this is
I agree.
Unsustainable.
I agree. Look, is there any last point you want to make before I've got to get Joe and Eugene on,
Yeah,
and I need to finish up in about 8 minutes. So anything else you want to say?
Yeah, you deserve an apology. That's my last point.
Who does?
You deserve, because you called this.
I don't need an apology for anything, mate. I don't need an apology. I think these fans that keep demanding each other give them apologies, I think it's really childish. Brennan Johnson scored a goal. We need apology forms. What are we talking about?
Yeah, it's because of its errors. Like that's the new thing. Like people use it as like a trend. Like
I'm not into all that. I just want to get back to a good football team and good football players. But listen, I'm gonna have to let you go. Minerals, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, big up, Sav.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. Big up, Joe. Oh, it's Joe. How you doing, man? You okay?
Hey, I'm great. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you. Not too bad.
So I didn't come to argue with you, although I feel it's important to point out that there are non-stupid Arsenal fans, not just Vindaloo and Angus. This is not an Arsenal top, but I do support Arsenal. I'm also an American, so there's 2 strikes against me. But you guys were talking after the loss the other day, and Maz and I think Ian were having a conversation about how Levy would exit. And Maz was saying something about how an investment firm could come in, because you were making a point that there's only a handful of billionaires who could come in.
Mhm.
And the thing I think that a lot of Tottenham sort of Levy outers forget is that the NFL is 32 billionaires who are a cartel, and they have a very stringent ownership model. They don't like retail billionaires. They span in age from 59 to 101 years old. And the entire purpose of the NFL is to make them more and more money. And so whoever comes in to buy your football club, assuming that the entire, convertible stadium is for the purpose of trying to get a European NFL team, they're going to have to qualify for that group. And so it's not going to be a Jerry Jones who's not going to be able to own, a football stadium over here and a football club over there. It's going to have to be an American/UK based consortium. And one of those Americans is going to have to own 30% of the club, because that's in the NFL ownership rules. So you're not going to get an investment firm like what we can have in any other sport, including European football. It's going to be a group that comes in that's going to have to be able to give the NFL $2 to $3 billion in a franchise fee, because that's how much the NFL is going to demand. And I just feel like that's important, because you guys need to get rid of your manager, because he sucks. I thoroughly enjoy the clusterfuck, I thoroughly enjoy the mess.
I'm sure you do.
That is your football club. But Levy himself doesn't have to leave. He'll leave when he can no longer double the value of Tottenham for the price it costs him to double the value, if that makes sense. They bought that for somewhere around $80 million after they all went in on it. It's now like $3.5 to $4 billion. The Stavely stuff, I think, is to revalue the club so he can borrow higher against it. That's how come he's floating somewhere around $750 million for 8 to 12%. He wants to try to get that elevation up, but he needs an American to come in that will put down $2 billion to the NFL. Before just the club. So sorry.
No. Look, it's all very interesting. As I've always said, and listen, I don't know if people agree with me or not. I think when we talk about getting rid of these owners, I think people are talking about it as though it's as easy as selling a player.
It's very naive.
I agree. I think, you want to sell a footballer, you force them out your club. Listen, we don't want you here. Okay, if you don't want to go, we're going to put you on the bench. You're going to rot in the reserves. Right. Yeah, there's ways. I just think whenever we have the conversations about we want to leave Ian Enoch out, I just don't think, I think people don't understand the magnitude of what they've built. It's not just the football side.
Themselves off from the club having any value beyond just tickets and television. And they don't need, you guys are legacy fans. You, Stel, Nick, the guys who want the club to win. You're legacy fans. You have the least amount of value to. Of course we do. We have no value to them. And the thing that Levy's done brilliantly, and forgive me, is that he's created these waves of cults, basically these fandoms that have come in. So you have the Harry Kane, the Gareth Bell, the now the Ange, the Mourinho, the Conte. You have these waves of people that join the club, not because they like the football and not because they care about your history. They don't care about Bill Nick. They don't care about 61. They don't care about the FA Cups. They don't care about any of that stuff. They're there because Son wears the jersey or Harry Kane wears the jersey.
I completely agree with you. And this is where I've always said, do I like Daniel Levy's ownership? No. Is he a very clever man? Yes. He really is. And this is what I always say. If I wasn't in football, would I want him to run my company? Yeah. Exactly. Absolutely.
Money.
Would I want him to buy I always say this. Would I want him to buy a company for 20 million and then turn it into a 4 billion company? Yeah. But with football, listen, I can't go too long because I was literally
you got a match that starts in 26 minutes. So
that's fine. No worries. I've got one more caller after you. All I would say is this. I just don't think, and when I was having a conversation with Maz and with Dan, and listen, and I agree with them that I don't want the owners here. I just think we've got different ideas of how easy it is to force owners out that have built this stadium, Joe, for me. They've built this stadium for this exact reason, for NFL, for concerts, for boxing, for all the partnerships with Dulux Paint, the Zone, they've done all this, which makes it very difficult for them to turn around and go, oh, the fans aren't happy with us. All right, I'll sell it. They haven't built this to sell it.
And that's what the slashing of the wages is worth. Slashing the wages means that they're not dependent on Europe anymore. They don't see, because every time they get close to winning, that's going to make the value of all those players go up, not just in sales, but in how much they cost, because winning costs more money. Anyways, we'll continue this another time.
Yeah, listen, we can do this again. Listen,
I've been watching you since you started the channel. So have a good vacation, and we'll talk later.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Joe. You take care, mate. See you later. And then the last caller is here he is. It's Eugene. How you doing, man? You all right?
You can hear me clearly, Savva?
I can hear you, man. I can hear you. We've got about 4 minutes, and then I've really got. I really need to toilet before I do my watch along.
Thanks for having me on, Savva. First of all, I want to rebut Rico, right? Last season, the M City game, right? I'm going to say this, right? Where are all those Arsenal fans, right, were supporting Spurs to win that game? Why no one's talking about that? And they turn around and said that we want to lose to us to M City so Arsenal doesn't win the cup. But to tell you the truth, right? And that brings back to ANGE. When ANGE came in, right, he was so adamant of that winning mentality, right? And then when the Brighton came along, right, what did he say? We're here to entertain. Savva, ANGE is not a football manager anymore. He's the entertainment manager of Tottenham Hotspur. It's going to be his new title. The entertainment manager for Tottenham Hotspur, because he's looking for entertainment, right? And the worst part is, right, us fans, right, I don't understand. Majority of us don't have sense, right? When a manager comes out and tells us, right, he's comfortable in conceding goals, right? What would you expect? You're in the Premier League, right? You're going to concede loads of goals. And we've been through the stats, right, Savva? In the past 7 games, right, we've given up nearly 140 chances at goal.
I know.
That is unbelievably crazy. And
I know, but the problem you've got.
Sorry,
the problem that we've got is there are fans that think this is what attacking football should look like. There are fans that don't understand you need balance. And the problem is, no matter what the stats and the facts say about this man's management, fans are believing him when he comes out and says things like, I'm happy with the direction we're going in. We're getting better. Well, that's fine, but the facts over here show, well, no, we're not. Defensively, we're not better, right? The number of wins has gone down. The number of defeats has gone up.
The worst part when he says he wants entertaining football, right? How many games have we been entertained this season, right? If we lose, are we entertained, right? Are we going to accept being entertained because and we lose? Of course not, right? And the worst part is, you understand what? If we have just went out there, right, and got smashed 4-0, right, by Chelsea yesterday, right, it wouldn't be that bad, you know? It would show that we were shit. You understand the thing? But we went 2-0 up. You understand? We went 2-0 up. And the worst part is that when we go up 2-0, right, and we lose 4-3, it makes us look Spursy. That's where the word comes from. That's the saddest part.
No,
the fans don't understand that. And the worst part is that, and you are not allowed to say that word, but the hell of it, most of us fans accept that word.
Look, listen, I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
we've got a manager that talks about not wanting to defend, not wanting to control games. And then when we get beaten again by 4 goals to Chelsea, he tells us that we've played well. Look, Eugene, we can have this conversation on a bigger level another day. I do need to go. So
have a good holiday with the missus, right? Take care.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Right. Take care, man.
And everyone in the chat, right? Please have some sense. Wake up, right? This is not working. And as always, leave you out.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Guys and girls, I am going to leave the show there. Listen, I have put a link in the chat. You will see this link that I've just put in the chat. Let me put it in again because I can't find it now. I've just put this link in the chat. I'm going to be doing a watch along in 5-6 minutes time on Big Up, bigup.com. Please get over, show some support. It's a really cool platform. There is the link. Please join me and we'll watch West Ham versus Wolves. Big up, everyone. Thank you for all the callers. Even Rico, thank you for all the callers. Really enjoyed the show. Big up to John Sweeney, who has said Ange is an arrogant fool. He deserves to go. Listen, I don't think he's a fool. I just think he's arrogant, John. I do agree with the arrogant part. So thank you for that. And John Lee has said, Rico, I don't understand your point. I recommend just, yeah, look, he won't be coming back on the show. There is a lot of trolling from him going on now. So big up to you. Thank you so much for the super chats. Take care, everyone. And please join me in 5-6 minutes over on Big Up. I'll post the link in my community page. Take care, everyone. And as always, leave you out and come on, you Spurs.